a complete guide to FELA lawsuits for injured railroad workers. The Federal Employers Liability Act is a federal statute enacted to protect railroad employees who suffer serious injuries while performing their duties in the railroad industry. Unlike standard workers' compensation laws, FELA requires injured railroad workers to prove that their employer's negligence played a role, however slight, in causing their injury. This legal framework applies to a wide range of railroad injury cases, including traumatic incidents, repetitive strain injuries, long-term harm caused by exposure to toxic substances. Railroad companies have a legal obligation to provide a reasonably safe workplace, and when they fail to do so, FELA gives workers the right to seek full compensation. FELA claims can address a wide array of harm, from broken bones and back injuries to occupational diseases such as lung cancer, mesothelioma, or hearing loss. Thousands of injured on-the-job workers have relied on FELA to recover damages for lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and diminished quality of life. The law is one of the few avenues that truly empowers railroad employees to hold their employers accountable in federal or state court. This video guide to FELA lawsuits is designed to help injured workers and their families understand their rights, the legal process, and the steps they can take to protect their future. At Janerys Trial Lawyers, we are experienced in representing railroad workers who receive full compensation for injuries they suffered on the job or due to exposure to hazardous chemicals. If you or a loved one needs assistance with an FELA claim, visit our website and use the chatbot to get a free instant online case evaluation, or call our offices for a free, no-obligation legal consultation with one of our experienced FELA lawyers. The history of FELA. FELA was enacted in 1908 in response to the dangerous nature of railroad work and the increasing rate of on-the-job injury and death, particularly during the explosive growth of the railroad industry in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The law allows injured railroaders, or in cases of death, their family members, to sue their railroad employer directly for compensation in either state or federal court. FELA applies specifically to common carriers by railroad that engage in interstate commerce, making it a federal remedy for employees of railroad companies operating across state lines. Unlike traditional workers' compensation systems, FELA is a fault-based system, meaning the injured employee must demonstrate that the railroad employer was negligent in some way. This could include failure to follow safety regulations, inadequate training, unsafe equipment, inadequate maintenance, and unsafe working conditions. Even if the worker was partially at fault, they may still recover damages under FELA, with the award reduced in proportion to their share of the blame. The statutory phrase from 45 U.S.C. 51 states that, under FELA, a railroad employer is liable if the injury resulted in whole or in part from the employer's negligence, meaning even minimal fault can establish the right to compensation. FELA does not require that the injury occur in a single accident. It also applies to cumulative trauma and occupational diseases caused by long-term exposure to dangerous conditions. Claims under FELA can be made for a wide variety of railroad injuries and illnesses, including those that are not immediately obvious but worsen as time passes. Common types of qualifying incidents and conditions include traumatic injuries from a railroad accident or sudden equipment failure, repetitive stress injuries from prolonged use of heavy tools or improper ergonomics, hearing loss due to high noise levels and lack of ear protection, respiratory diseases from prolonged exposure to diesel exhaust or silica dust, cancers and chronic illnesses related to exposure to asbestos, benzene, or other toxic substances, slip and fall injuries caused by unsafe work environments, back, neck, and spine injuries from heavy lifting or inadequate support. Fatal accidents, for which families may bring a wrongful death claim. What is required to make a FELA claim? Pursuing an FELA claim involves several key steps. The injured worker or their legal representative, designated legal counsel, must document the injury, gather testimony from coworkers and witnesses, compile evidence of the railroad's negligence, and file the claim within the 3-year statute of limitations. Medical records, accident reports, and expert opinions all play a crucial role in proving the case. Unlike workers' compensation, which typically pays only a portion of medical bills or lost wages, a successful FELA claim can recover full compensation for lost earnings, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and loss of quality of life. In the event of a fatal injury, family members may recover for the economic and emotional losses resulting from the death. The whole process can be time-intensive and legally complex, making experienced legal counsel essential. FELA is the exclusive remedy for injured railroad workers in interstate commerce, preempting state workers' compensation laws while requiring proof of employer fault. The legal process for FELA claims explained. Here's a breakdown of the key steps involved in a FELA claim. Seek immediate medical attention. After an injury, your health and safety are the top priority. Make sure you get treated and that all details of the injury are documented. Report the injury to your employer. Notify your railroad employer of the incident as soon as possible. Do not give a recorded statement without consulting your legal team. Consult with an experienced FELA attorney. A lawyer with extensive experience in FELA claims will evaluate your case, advise you of your rights, and begin building your claim. Investigation and evidence gathering. Your attorney will gather crucial documentation, including medical records, witness statements, employment records, and photographs of the accident scene. Determine liability and damages. With your legal team, you'll identify what safety violations or negligent acts contributed to your injury and calculate your damages. File the claim. Your attorney will file your FELA claim in state or federal court, depending on your circumstances and legal strategy. Negotiate a settlement. Before trial, your lawyer may negotiate with the railroad company to reach a fair compensation amount without going to court. Proceed to trial if necessary. If a settlement can't be reached, your case will go to trial, where your attorney will present the evidence and argue for the compensation you deserve. Verdict and award. A judge or jury will issue a decision. If successful, you'll be awarded damages for medical expenses, lost wages, pain and suffering, and more. Appeals and post-trial motions if applicable. In some cases, either party may challenge the decision, which can extend the legal process. FELA provides the right to a jury trial, giving injured railroaders a powerful tool to seek justice rather than relying solely on administrative procedures. What should I do if a railroad claim agent contacts me? If a railroad claim agent contacts you after an injury, it's important to proceed with caution. Claim agents work for the railroad company, not for you, and their goal is often to minimize the company's financial responsibility. Do not provide any written or recorded statements, sign documents, or discuss your injuries in detail without first speaking to a qualified FELA attorney. Anything you say can be used to weaken or deny your claim. Instead, politely inform the agent that your legal counsel will handle all communications moving forward. Hiring an experienced FELA lawyer protects your rights and helps you avoid costly mistakes early in the process. Evidence to gather for your FELA claim. Building a strong FELA claim requires detailed, reliable evidence that shows how your injury occurred and how it impacted your life. Relevant evidence for a FELA claim may include accident reports, official documentation filed with your railroad employer after the incident, medical records, diagnosis, treatment plans, and documentation of the physical effects of the injury, witness statements, testimony from co-workers or others who observed the accident or unsafe working conditions, employment and work history records, documents showing your job duties, assignments, and potential exposure to hazardous conditions, photographs or videos, visual documentation of the accident scene, faulty equipment, or unsafe environment, maintenance logs, records that may show failures to inspect or repair defective tools, vehicles, or machinery, training and safety compliance records, evidence of inadequate safety procedures or failure to train workers properly, correspondence with the railroad company or claim agents, letters, emails, or calls that may show the company's response after the incident, contact information and telephone numbers, details for witnesses, supervisors, and medical providers who may offer statements or records relevant to the claim. Gathering and organizing this evidence is one of the most important steps in pursuing justice under the Federal Employers Liability Act. If you hire an attorney, your attorney will be able to assist you with gathering all necessary evidence to build a strong case. Recoverable damages in FELA claims. Unlike state workers' compensation, FELA allows recovery for non-economic harms such as pain and suffering, loss of enjoyment of life, and emotional distress, in addition to tangible economic losses. Common categories of damages available in FELA claims include lost earnings and reduced earning capacity, income lost while recovering, and future wages that the injured worker can no longer earn due to disability, medical expenses, costs for past, present, and future medical care related to the injury or illness, pain and suffering, physical discomfort and chronic pain caused by the injury, loss of enjoyment of life, inability to participate in meaningful or previously routine activities due to injury, emotional distress, mental anguish, anxiety, and trauma stemming from the injury and its consequences, wrongful death damages. In fatal cases, surviving family members may recover for loss of companionship, funeral costs, and the economic contributions of the deceased. Janerys Trial Lawyers, seeking maximum compensation for injured railroad workers. At Janerys Trial Lawyers, we are proud to represent the men and women who keep America's rail system running and to fight for justice when their work leads to injury, illness, or loss. Our FELA case results and client testimonials speak for themselves. We take the time to understand each case, build compelling legal arguments, and pursue maximum compensation for every injured railroad worker and their family. Whether you've suffered from a sudden on-the-job injury or a diagnosis linked to long-term exposure, our team is here to guide you through every step of the legal process with professionalism, compassion, and relentless dedication. If you or a loved one has been hurt while working for the railroad, don't wait. Contact Janerys Trial Lawyers today to schedule a free consultation and begin your fight for justice. Contact us today for a free case evaluation or use the chatbot on our website, lawforpeople.com, to find out if you qualify for an FELA claim instantly.